Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today for our daily devotion. This past summer, my childhood best friend, she sent me a text along with a photo that stirred up a lot of wonderful memories. It was of a time that she and I and her brother, we entered a competition. It was at the Glabrick Corn Carnival, and we entered as a horse in the parade. She was the head, and I was the tail end. It was an appropriate position for me because she was so fast. No matter where we ran, I always had to follow. Well, her brother, he led us all around, up and down the streets, because we couldn't see where we were going. So we had to trust him to lead us in the right direction and submit to him. Well, the end of me, it turned out well. We won the blue ribbon. And the end of me continues to bless me. Now, it may not show up in the fashion of a blue ribbon, but when I step aside and I allow God to lead me, to be the head of my horse, so to speak, I'll be blessed. And when I gave my life to the Lord years ago, I began the end of Leanne journey. And this journey continues to this day with me surrendering to God's will daily, because I can be stubborn. God says in Isaiah that His thoughts are not my thoughts, and neither are His ways my ways. His will and His way, it's so much better. But to know God's will and to do God's will, it's two different stories. We had an oral surgeon friend who shared how one of his colleagues was so brilliant, off the charts intelligent. He had all the knowledge that he needed to perform oral surgery. But for some reason, he just couldn't get the knowledge up here to funnel down through his hands and to perform the procedures that he needed to do. So he stepped aside and he decided to teach his head knowledge, since he couldn't perform the knowledge that he had. To have the knowledge of God's will and to do the knowledge of God's will, they're two different scenarios with different endings. Putting an end to me, it's a lifelong process. And I'm telling you, it's painful. It's painful to submit. It's much like when we break a horse and we try to put the saddle on them. They kick up a storm and throw a fit, especially when you fit them with a bit. They don't like to submit, much like you and me. But when we put an end to ourselves by doing God's will, then we're going to have a fuller life, a blessed life, a more rewarding life. And we might just get a reward in the form of a blue ribbon that's really wrapped up like a blessing. So today, let's join in together and submit to God's will and earn a couple blessings along the way. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me.